The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Villani system. Captain Park Minho stood on the bridge of the Retribution, looking at the scanner readings. What they showed made his blood run cold. "Report," he said to Lieutenant Kim Nari. 12 Krathen ships, sir. 6 are hunting vessels, 4 are transports, and 2 are what look like processing stations. Nari's voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly as she read the data. The Villani colony ship is still there, but barely. Life signs are very weak. "Processing stations?" asked Corporal Lee Teho. "What does that mean?" Dr. Choi Jiwon spoke up from the science station. She had joined them when they received reports of alien activity in the sector. "Based on Krathen behavior patterns, I believe they are mobile facilities for preparing their victims." "Preparing them for what?" Minho asked, though he suspected he already knew the answer. "For consumption, sir. The Krathen do not just enslave other species, they farm them, like livestock." The bridge went quiet. Everyone understood what that meant. The Krathen were not just raiders or slavers. They were something worse. They treated intelligent beings like animals to be eaten. "Sir," said Nari, "I am picking up communications between the Krathen ships. Would you like me to translate?" "Put it on speaker." The bridge filled with clicking and buzzing sounds. Then the computer's translation came through clearly. "Harvesting." "Proceeding on schedule," said one voice. "The blueskins have good meat, but they cry too much, very annoying." "Stop complaining," said another voice. "The Empire pays well for fresh livestock. These will bring a good price at the core worlds." "Oh," third voice joined the conversation. "What about the reports of human ships in this sector?" "Humans?" The first voice sounded amused. "Those Deathworld primitives? They are just another prey species. If they come, we will harvest them too. I hear their meat is very tough, but the young ones might be tender." Minho's hands clenched into fists. Around him, the bridge crew looked ready to fight. But the Krathen were not finished talking. "The Empire has marked several human colonies for future harvesting operations," said the second voice. "New Seoul, Busan Station, and that farming world. What was it called?" "Jeju Prime," said the third voice. 50 million humans, mostly. Farmers and their families. Very easy targets." "Good. The hunting in this sector is almost finished anyway. Too many weaklings, not enough sport. Humans will be more fun to hunt." The transmission ended. The bridge stayed silent for a long moment. Everyone was thinking the same thing. The Krathen were not just attacking random ships. They had a plan. They were mapping human space, choosing targets, preparing for a massive attack on human colonies. "Sir," said Teho quietly, "my family lives on Jeju Prime." Minho nodded. Many of the crew had families on the worlds the Krathen had mentioned. This was no longer just about helping the Villani. This was about protecting human lives. "Dr. Choi, I need you to analyze everything we know about Krathen operations. How do they choose targets? How do they attack? What are their weaknesses?" "Yes, sir. I will start immediately. Nari, send a coded message to Admiral Song. Tell him what we found. Use emergency protocols." "Already done, sir. But it will take time for reinforcements to reach us. Then we work with what we have. Signal the other ships. All captains to report here for briefing in 1 hour." As the crew went to work, Minho walked to his ready room. He needed time to think. The Krathen had 12 ships and hundreds of crew members. The humans had 3 ships and less than 1,000 people total. In a straight fight, the odds were not good, but humans did not fight straight fights. An hour later, the captains of the other human ships stood around the table in Minho's ready room. Captain Oh Minji commanded the Sword of Earth, a fast attack, ship built for hit-and-run tactics. Commander Bae Junho led the Final Warning, a heavily armed destroyer. "The situation is clear," Minho said. "The Krathen are not just raiding. They are preparing to attack human space. We have to stop them here." "With 3 ships against 12? asked Oh Minji. "That is not a fight we can win." "We do not need to win a fair fight," said Bae Junho. "We need to make them afraid." "Exactly," said Minho. "Dr. Choi, what did you find?" The scientist activated a hologram showing the Krathen ships. Their society is based on pack hunting. They are used to attacking weaker prey that runs away. They do not expect their victims to fight back effectively. What about their technology? Superior to most species, but not to ours. Their ships are fast and well-armed, but they rely on fear and surprise. When prey species see Krathen ships, they usually surrender or try to run. And when they do fight, they fight like animals. No real tactics, just aggression and overwhelming force. They are not used to fighting intelligent enemies who can adapt. Minho smiled coldly. Then we will give them something new to think about. He activated the tactical display. Here is what we are going to do. Minji, your ship is the fastest. You will attack their scouts first. Make noise, let them know humans are here, but do not engage their main force. Hit and run? Exactly. Make them think we are raiders like them. When they send ships to hunt you, lead them away from the main group. And then, Junho, the final warning will hit their processing stations. Those ships are not built for fighting. Destroy them and rescue any survivors you can find. What about their main fleet? Leave them to me. The Retribution will handle the hunting ships. Sir, said Ominji carefully, that is still 6 ships against 1. The Retribution is not just any ship, said Minho, and they do not know what they are facing. The meeting broke up and the captains returned to their ships. Minho stayed behind with Dr. Choi. Doctor, I need you to prepare something for me. A message to broadcast on all Krathen frequencies. What kind of message? A warning. I want every Krathen ship in this system to hear it. I want them to know that Earth's children have arrived. Sir, that will tell them exactly where we are, and how many ships we have. Good. Let them see us coming. Let them choose their response. Dr. Choi looked confused. I do not understand. Why would you want to give up the element of surprise? Minho walked to the window and looked out at the distant Krathen ships. Because I want them to make a choice. They can run away and never come back to human space, or they can stay and fight. And if they choose to fight, then they will learn why the galaxy calls us Deathworlders. The human fleet spread out and began to move toward the Krathen ships. On every human vessel, the crew prepared for battle. They checked weapons, sealed armor, and said quiet prayers for the innocent people they were trying to save. In the distance, the Volani colony ship drifted dark and silent. Inside, survivors waited for rescue or death. They did not know that help was coming from the most unlikely source in the galaxy. The hunters were about to become the hunted. The red lights flashed across the bridge of the UES Retribution. Captain Park Minho stood with his arms crossed, watching the stars through the main screen. His ship was big and dark, built for war rather than exploration. Most alien species feared human warships. They called them death machines from a death world. Captain, we have a signal coming in, said Lieutenant Kim Nari from her station. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. It's a distress call. Very weak signal coming from the outer rim. Minho walked over to her station. His boots made heavy sounds on the metal floor. Put it on screen. The main display changed. Static filled most of the image, but slowly a face appeared. It was not human. The being had large, gentle eyes and soft blue skin. It looked like it was crying. Please, anyone who can hear this message, the alien said in broken galactic standard. We are the Volani. Our colony ship Harmony's Dream is under attack. They are taking our people. They are hurting us. Please help us. We have children on board. The signal cut to show the inside of a ship. Minho's jaw tightened as he watched. Creatures that looked like giant insects were dragging the blue-skinned Volani through corridors. The aliens screamed as they were pulled away from their families. Some of the Volani tried to fight back, but they were too weak. They were plant-eaters, peaceful people who had never learned to be violent. Krathen, said Corporal Lee Taiho from behind them. He had come up from the marine deck to watch. Those bug-faced slavers again. Minho nodded. He had fought the Krathen before. They were a species that believed might made right. They traveled from system to system, taking weaker aliens as slaves. The Galactic Confederation did nothing to stop them. They said it was not their business what stronger species did to weaker ones. How far are they? Minho asked. Nari checked her instruments. 3 days at full speed, sir. The signal is old, though. This happened maybe 2 weeks ago. Are they still broadcasting? Yes, sir. Very weak, but still sending. Someone is still alive over there. Minho thought for a moment. The Villani were not part of the human alliance. They had never even spoken to humans before. Most species in this part of space avoided Earth ships. Humans had a reputation. They were from a world so dangerous that everything there tried to kill everything else. This made humans into something most aliens feared, but the Krathen were different. They were predators too, just like humans. The difference was that humans had learned to work together and use tools. The Krathen only knew how to hunt and eat. Set course for the Villani ship, Minho ordered. Maximum speed. Sir, said Nari carefully. Command did not give us orders to help alien ships. We are supposed to patrol the border. Minho looked at her. His dark eyes were cold. The Krathen have been moving closer to human space for months. If they are this far into the rim, they will reach our colonies soon. We need to know what they are planning. This was not the real reason, and everyone on the bridge knew it. Minho had seen the terror in the Villani's eyes. He had watched families being torn apart. Something deep inside him, something that came from Earth's harsh world, demanded action. Signal the fleet, he said. Tell Admiral Song we are investigating a threat to human interests. The Retribution turned and jumped to faster-than-light speed. Around them, space twisted and bent. The ship shook slightly as it pushed through, the barriers between normal space and the strange place where faster travel was possible. Minho went to his ready room behind the bridge. He sat at his desk and opened the files on the Krathen Empire. They controlled dozens of star systems. Their society was based on hunting and eating other species. They saw all plant-eating aliens as food that could talk. The door chimed. Come, Yund, Minho said. Teho entered and sat down across from him. The Marine was a big man with scars on his face from past battles. Captain, the boys are asking questions. They want to know why we are going to help aliens who never helped us. What do you tell them? I tell them to follow orders. But I am asking the same question. Minho closed the file and looked at his friend. They had fought together for 10 years. Taiho deserved an honest answer. You saw the transmission. You saw what they were doing to those people. Yes, sir. It was bad. But the galaxy is full of bad things. We cannot save everyone. No, we cannot. But the Krathen are different. They are not just raiders or pirates. They have a plan. They want to control everything. If they succeed in the rim, they will come for human space next. Taiho nodded slowly. And we cannot let that happen. No, we cannot. But there is more to it than that. Minho stood and walked to the window. Outside, the stars streaked past like white lines. Do you know what the other species call us, Taiho? Deathworlders. Monsters from a hell planet. Yes, they fear us because of where we come from. Earth made us hard, it made us dangerous, but it also made us something else. What is that, sir? It made us protectors. Every human child learns to protect the weak from the strong. Every human parent dies to save their young. This is what Earth taught us. The galaxy thinks we are monsters, but they are wrong. We are guardians. Teho smiled grimly. The Krathen will not expect that. No, they will not. They think like predators. They see only strength and weakness. They cannot understand cooperation or sacrifice. The door chimed again. Nari's voice came through the intercom. Captain, we are receiving more signals from the area, not just the Villani ship. Minho and Taiho returned to the bridge. The main screen showed a star map with several red dots blinking. What are we looking at? Minho asked. Multiple ships, sir, all sending distress calls. The Krathen have been busy in this sector. Nari's voice was tight with anger. Sir, some of these signals are very old. They have been hunting here for months. Minho studied the display. Each red dot represented a ship full of people who had died screaming. Families torn apart. Children taken from their parents. The Krathen had been operating freely in this space and no one had stopped them. "How many ships do we have available?" he asked. "The Retribution and 2 escort destroyers, sir. The Sword of Earth and the Final Warning. Not much against a Krathen hunting fleet, but it would have to do." Minho had learned long ago that humans did not win fights by having more ships. They won by being smarter and more determined than their enemies. "Signal the fleet. Tell them we are going hunting." As the human ships raced through space toward the cries for help, Minho thought about what they would find. The Krathen believed they were the strongest predators in the galaxy. They were about to learn what real predators looked like. The hunt was about to begin. The first shot came from Captain Ominji's ship, the Sword of Earth. A bright beam of energy lanced across space and struck a Krathen scout vessel. The alien ship exploded in a ball of fire and metal. "Target destroyed," Minji reported over the radio. "The rest of their scouts are turning to pursue me." "Good," said Captain Park Minho from the bridge of the Retribution. "Lead them away from the main group. Make them chase you." On his screens, Minho watched the Krathen fleet react to the attack. Just as Dr. Choi Jiwan had predicted, they responded like pack hunters. 4 of their fastest ships immediately broke away to hunt down the human attacker. "Sir," said Lieutenant Kim Nari, "Commander Bay is beginning his attack run on the processing stations." The final warning streaked toward the 2 large Krathen ships that were harvesting the Villani survivors. These ships were built for capturing and holding prisoners, not for fighting. They tried to turn and run, but human weapons were too fast. "Processing. Station 1 is destroyed," reported Commander Bae Junho. "Moving to attack the second target." Minho watched the tactical display with cold satisfaction. The plan was working. The Krathen were reacting exactly as expected. They were splitting their forces, making themselves vulnerable. "Now comes the hard part," he said to himself. The 6 remaining Krathen hunting ships had formed up into an attack formation. These were their main battle vessels, designed to overwhelm prey with superior numbers and firepower. They began moving toward the Retribution. "Sir," said Corporal Lee Teho from his station, "they are broadcasting on all frequencies." "Let me hear it." The clicking and buzzing of Krathen's speech filled the bridge, followed by the computer translation. "Human vessel, you have made a grave mistake. We are the Krathen Empire, masters of this sector. Surrender now and your death will be quick." Minho smiled grimly. "Open a channel. Let me respond." "Channel open, sir." Minho stepped forward and spoke, clearly into the microphone. "This is Captain Park Minho of the United Earthship Retribution. You have attacked innocent people. You have threatened human colonies. This ends now. You dare threaten us, prey species? We are Krathen. We have conquered dozens of worlds. Your pathetic ship cannot stand against 6 of our hunters. Then come and take it." The Krathen ships accelerated toward the Retribution. Their weapons began charging, ready to overwhelm the single human vessel with concentrated fire. But Minho was not planning to fight 6 ships at once. "Nari, activate stealth systems. Cut all power except life support and engines. Stealth systems online, sir. We are now invisible to their scanners." The Retribution vanished from Krathen sensors just as they fired their first volley. The enemy weapons passed through empty space where the human ship had been moments before. "Where did they go?" came the confused Krathen voices over the radio. "Find them. They cannot just disappear." But humans had learned to be very good at disappearing. Earth was a world where the weak hid from the strong, where intelligence mattered more than size or claws. Human technology reflected this. Their ships could become invisible, move silently, strike from unexpected directions. The Retribution drifted through space like a ghost, moving closer to the confused Krathen ships. Minho watched the enemy formation break apart as they searched for him. "Target the lead ship," he ordered. "Full power to weapons." "Sir, that will reveal our position." Only for a moment. The Retribution dropped stealth and fired every weapon it had at the nearest Krathen vessel. The alien ship had no time to raise shields or turn away. It died in seconds, torn apart by human firepower. Before the other Krathen could react, the human ship vanished again. "Impossible," screamed the Krathen commander. "No ship can do that." "Apparently we can," said Taiho with dark humor. The hunt continued. The Retribution appeared, killed another Krathen ship, and disappeared. Each attack came from a different direction. Each time the humans struck before the enemy could respond. The remaining Krathen ships tried to form a defensive circle, but it was too late. They were no longer the hunters. They had become the prey. "Sir," reported Nari, "Captain Minji has destroyed 2 of the ships chasing her. The other 2 are trying to return to help their friends." "Too late for that," said Minho. He watched as another Krathen ship died under his guns. Only 2 of the original 6 hunters remained. "Commander Bay has finished with the processing stations," Taiho reported. "He is moving to rescue survivors from the Villani ship." "Good. Tell him to be careful. Some of those people might be badly hurt." The last 2 Krathen ships had stopped trying to fight. They were running now, desperately trying to escape the system. But human ships were faster. "Should we let them go, sir?" asked Nari. Minho thought for a moment. Part of him wanted to show mercy. These were defeated enemies, no longer a threat. But then he remembered the Krathen talking about harvesting human children. He thought about Taiho's family on Jeju Prime. "No," he said quietly. "They came here to hunt innocent people. They planned to attack human colonies. They showed no mercy to their victims." The Retribution dropped stealth one final time. The last 2 Krathen ships died together, their hulls cracked open by human weapons. The system fell silent, except for the rescue operations on the Villani colony ship. Commander, Bay's Marines were pulling survivors from the wreckage, giving medical aid to those who needed it. "Casualties?" Minho asked. "None on our side, sir," reported Taiho. "The Villani ship had 300 survivors out of an original population of 2,000. Most are in poor condition, but they will live." Dr. Choi looked up from her station. "Sir, I have been analyzing the Krathen ship computers. What I found is disturbing." "Show me." The main screen filled with star maps and lists of numbers. This was not just a raiding operation. The Krathen have been mapping this entire region for months. They have detailed plans for attacking over 50 different worlds. Human worlds? Some of them. But also colonies of other species. Peaceful people like the Villani. The Krathen were planning the largest harvesting operation in their history. Minho studied the information. Thousands of innocent beings would have died if this plan had succeeded. Entire civilizations would have been reduced to livestock for Krathen dinner tables. "Sir," said Nari, "we are receiving a transmission from Admiral Song. He wants a full report. Tell the Admiral we have neutralized the immediate threat. But this is bigger than we thought. The Krathen Empire needs to be stopped permanently." "What do you mean, sir?" Minho looked around at his crew. These were good people who had risked their lives to save strangers. They represented the best of humanity, the willingness to protect the weak from the strong. "I mean, we are going to send a message to every Krathen world. We are going to show them what happens when you threaten Earth's children." "Sir," said Dr. Choi carefully, "that would mean war with their entire empire." "No," said Minho. "It would mean the end of their empire." He walked to the communication station and opened a channel to the entire human fleet. "All ships, this is Captain Minho. Today we saved the Villani people from slavery and death. But this is just the beginning. The Krathen Empire has marked our colonies for destruction. They see our families as food to be harvested." He paused, looking out at the debris field that had once been 12 Krathen ships. "We will not allow this to happen. We will hunt down every Krathen ship, destroy every Krathen base, and free every slave in their empire. We will show the galaxy that Earth's children protect the innocent." "And what about mercy, sir?" asked a young officer. Minho's expression was cold as space itself. "They showed no mercy to their victims. Why should we show mercy to them?" The human fleet began to move toward Krathen space. Behind them, the Villani survivors were safe. Ahead lay the heart of an empire built on cruelty and death. The real war was about to begin. Admiral Song Hyuk stood in the command center of the massive Earth battleship Indomitable, watching data streams flow across dozens of screens. Around him, officers worked quietly at their stations, coordinating the largest human military operation since the border wars. "Report," he said to his aide, Commander Bae Junho. 73 Krathen installations destroyed in the past 2 weeks, sir. 48 ships eliminated. We estimate their military capacity is down by 30%. Casualties, on our side? Minimal, sir. The Krathen still do not understand how we fight. Song nodded grimly. The human fleet had been cutting through Krathen space like a knife through soft meat. Every attack was precisely planned and perfectly executed. The aliens had never faced an enemy like this before. On the main screen, reports came in from across Krathen territory. Colonel Lim Subin's Marines had taken another slave processing facility on the world of Cathara. Captain O. Minji's stealth ships had destroyed a convoy of transports carrying captured civilians. Sergeant Major Ko Min-seok's Special Forces team had eliminated a Krathen command base without losing a single soldier. "Sir," said the communications officer, "we have a transmission from Captain Park Min-ho. His task force has reached the outer defenses of Krathen Prime. Put him on screen." Min-ho's face appeared, looking tired but determined. Behind him, the bridge of the Retribution showed signs of recent battle, scorch marks on the walls, and crew members with bandaged wounds. "Admiral, we have broken through." Their defensive line. 17 Krathen ships destroyed, 2 human vessels with minor damage. Resistance? Lighter than expected, sir. Their best ships and crews have been scattered across dozens of systems, trying to protect their slave operations. They left the home world defended by second-rate forces. Song was not surprised. The Krathen had built their empire on the idea that no one would ever dare attack them directly. They had never prepared for a war on their own territory. What about civilian populations? That is the strange part, sir. The planet has very few non-Krathen civilians. It appears they do not keep slaves on their home world. Dr. Choi Ji-won's voice came from off-screen. "Admiral, I believe I can explain that. From what we have learned about Krathen culture, they consider their homeworld too sacred to contaminate with prey species. All the slaves are kept in processing facilities on conquered worlds, which we have been systematically destroying," said Song with satisfaction. "Yes, sir. But there is something else. The Krathen government has been broadcasting surrender offers on all frequencies. They want to negotiate." Song's expression hardened. "What kind of offers?" "They say they will stop attacking human colonies if we end our offensive. They are willing to establish formal borders between human and Krathen space. And what about all the species they have enslaved? They did not mention those in their offers." The bridge of the Indomitable went quiet. Everyone understood what that meant. The Krathen were willing to leave humans alone, but they wanted to keep their slaves. They saw this as a reasonable compromise. "Sir," said Min-ho carefully, "Command wants to know how you want to respond." Song thought for a moment. The easy choice would be to accept the Krathen offer. Human lives would be safe. Human colonies would be protected. The war could end with minimal casualties on both sides, but that would mean abandoning millions of enslaved beings to lives of horror and death. "Admiral," said Dr. Choi, "I should mention that we have been broadcasting everything to the galactic networks. Every species in known space is watching what we do here." Song understood. This was about more than just military victory. This was about what kind of people humans wanted to be. The galaxy was learning that Earth's children had the power to destroy empires. Now they would learn whether humans used that power wisely. "Signal all ships," Song said. "We do not negotiate with slavers. Continue the advance on Krathen Prime." "Sir," said Commander Bae quietly, "Command is asking about post-war plans. What happens after we destroy the Krathen Empire?" Song looked at the star maps showing Krathen territory. Hundreds of worlds, billions of beings, many of them slaves who had never known freedom. It would take years to sort out the chaos that would follow the Empire's collapse. We help them rebuild. We protect them until they can protect themselves. We make sure this never happens again. That could take decades, sir. The cost? The cost of freedom is always high, but the cost of slavery is higher. The transmission from Minho's ship changed to show the surface of Crathen Prime. The planet was a dark, hostile world with cities built like hives. Massive towers rose from the ground, connected by bridges and tunnels. It looked like a place designed by predators for predators. Beginning orbital bombardment of military targets, reported Minho. The Crathen fleet is trying to form a defensive line around the planet. How many ships? 43, sir. They have called back every vessel they can find. This is their last stand. Song watched the battle unfold on his screens. Human ships moved like dancers, each one knowing exactly where to be and when. The Crathen fought like wild animals, brave but without coordination. Sir, said the sensor officer, massive energy buildup on the planet's surface. They are charging some kind of weapon. Planet killer? Unknown, sir. But whatever it is big. Song felt a chill run down his spine. A desperate enemy with a planet-killing weapon was dangerous to everyone in the system. Signal Captain Minho. Tell him to pull back to safe distance. Sir, he is not responding. His ship is moving closer to the planet. On screen, the Retribution dove toward Crathen Prime, flying through clouds of debris and weapons fire. Other human ships followed, ignoring the massive energy weapon that was powering up on the planet's surface. What is he doing? Muttered Song. Sir, said Dr. Choi, I think I understand. That weapon takes time to charge. If they can destroy it before it fires, they have to get through 40 Crathen ships first. Yes, sir, but look at the formation they are using. Song studied the tactical display. The human ships were not just attacking randomly. They were moving in a pattern, like wolves surrounding prey. Each ship knew exactly what the others were doing. It is called the Earth Formation, explained Dr. Choi. Based on pack hunting techniques from our homeworld, no single ship is strong enough to break through the Crathen line. But working together, Song watched as the human formation tore through the Crathen defenses. Ships died on both sides, but the humans kept moving forward with deadly purpose. Sir, reported the communications officer, Colonel Lim's Marines are requesting permission to land on the planet. For what purpose? To secure the weapon site and prevent it from firing. Song looked at the tactical display. The energy readings from the planet were climbing steadily. In less than an hour, the weapon would be ready to fire. It could destroy every ship in the system, human and Crathen alike. Permission granted. Tell the colonel to move fast. Sir, said Commander Bay, if our forces land on their home world, the Crathen will fight to the death. There will be no surrender, no negotiation. Good, said Song coldly. I am tired of negotiating with monsters. The battle for Crathen Prime had begun. On the planet's surface, Crathen soldiers prepared to defend their world from the Deathworld invaders. In orbit, the last of their fleet fought desperately against an enemy they had never expected to face. But the humans had not come for conquest or revenge. They had come to end slavery forever, and they would not be stopped. 6 months after the fall of Crathen Prime, Ambassador Park Soo-yeon stood in the Great Assembly Hall of New Geneva Station. Around her, representatives from dozens of species sat in curved rows, all looking toward the speaking platform where she was about to address the Galactic Council. The hall was quiet, but it was not the comfortable silence of peace. It was the tense quiet of beings who were still afraid. Not of the Crathen anymore. That empire was gone, scattered to dust by human weapons. They were afraid of the humans themselves. Honored delegates, Soo-yeon began, her voice carrying clearly. Through the chamber, 6 months ago, this council watched as the Crathen Empire threatened innocent species across the galaxy. You watched as they enslaved entire worlds, treated sentient beings as livestock, and planned to expand their operations to human space. She paused, looking at the alien faces around her. Some showed guilt. Others showed fear. A few showed something that might have been gratitude. The council chose to do nothing. You said it was not your concern what stronger species did to weaker ones. You called it the natural order of the galaxy. A delegate from the Centauri Federation stood up. His blue skin was pale with nervousness. Ambassador Park, we understand that humans are angry about Krathan aggression, but surely the complete destruction of their civilization was excessive? Suyon's expression did not change. Excessive? Let me tell you what was excessive. The Krathan had processing facilities on 37 worlds. We found evidence of over 2 million sentient beings who had been murdered for food. We rescued another 800,000 who were still alive, barely. She activated a holographic display showing images from the liberated worlds. The delegates looked away, but she continued. Children as young as 5 years old kept in cages and fattened for slaughter. Parents forced to watch their offspring be taken away. Entire species reduced to breeding stock. That was excessive. The Centauri delegate sat down, his argument forgotten. General Nam Wu-jin, standing beside the ambassador, stepped forward. His military uniform was plain, but his presence commanded respect. Even the largest aliens seemed small next to him. The delegates want to know what humans plan to do now, he said. You are afraid we will do to you what we did to the Krathan. Let me be clear. Your fear is justified. The hall erupted in worried whispers and alarmed clicking sounds. Several delegates reached for their communication devices, probably calling their home governments. But, Nam continued, raising his voice, your fear is also misplaced. We did not destroy the Krathan because they were different from us. We destroyed them because they were too much like what we used to be. Suyon nodded and took over again. Humans come from a world that tried to kill us every day. For millions of years, we were both predator and prey. We learned to hunt, to fight, to kill. But we also learned something else. We learned that the strongest survive not by destroying the weak, but by protecting them. She gestured to a section of the hall where former Krathan slaves sat as observers. Villani, Altarians, Keplerians, and dozens of other species who had been freed from bondage. These beings are now citizens of the Free Systems Alliance. They govern themselves, choose their own leaders, make their own laws. We do not rule them. We protect them. A delegate from the powerful Rigel Empire stood up. And what if we do not wish to join this alliance? What if we prefer the old ways? Suyon smiled, but there was ice in her expression. Then you continue as you always have, as long as you harm no one. But if you prey upon the innocent, if you enslave the weak, if you treat sentient beings as property, then you will meet the same fate as the Krathan. That is a threat. No, that is a promise. General Nam stepped forward again. We know that some of you have built your civilizations on slavery. We know that some of you profit from the suffering of weaker species. Consider this your notice. Those days are over. You cannot police the entire galaxy, protested the Rigel delegate. Watch us, Nam said simply. On the main display, star charts appeared showing the current disposition of human forces. Red symbols marked human battle groups spread across hundreds of systems. Blue symbols showed the locations of new Earth bases, each one positioned to respond quickly to threats. We have built the largest fleet in galactic history, explained Suyon. Every human colony contributes ships and crews. Every liberated world provides supplies and support. We are not conquerors. We are guardians. She touched a control, and the display changed to show a communication from deep space. Yesterday, we received our first distress call since the Krathan War ended. A species called the Andromedans from outside our galaxy, requesting help against something they call the Void Hunters. The delegates looked at each other nervously. If there were threats from outside the galaxy, the balance of power could change. Again, we have dispatched a task force to investigate, Suyon continued. Admiral Park Minho will lead the mission. On the screen, Minho's face appeared. He looked older now, marked by the weight of command, but his eyes still held the same cold determination they had shown during the war. Honored delegates, he said, this is the new reality. Earth's children do not ask permission to protect the innocent. We do not negotiate with slavers or compromisers with monsters. We do what is necessary, when it is necessary, regardless of what others think. And if we oppose you, asked the Rigel delegate. Then you join the Krathen in history, Minho replied. A cautionary tale about what happens to predators who forget that there are bigger predators in the universe. The transmission ended. The hall was completely silent now. Ambassador Suyon looked around at the assembled delegates one final time. You have a choice to make. You can continue to fear us, to see us as monsters from a death world who bring only destruction. Or you can see us as we truly are, guardians who will pay any price to protect the innocent. She gathered her materials and prepared to leave. The choice is yours, but remember this. We did not come to your galaxy to conquer it. We came to save it. From the Krathen, from the Void Hunters, and from you, if necessary. As the human delegation left the hall, the delegates sat in stunned silence. Outside the station, human warships patrolled the space lanes, their crews ready to respond to any threat. In the liberated territories, former slaves learned to govern themselves under human protection. Children who had never known freedom played in parks and attended schools. Families that had been torn apart by Krathen slavers were slowly reunited, and in the depths of space, Admiral Park Minho's task force approached the edge of the galaxy, ready to face whatever new threat awaited them. The age of Earth's guardians had begun. 3 months later, Captain Park Minho stood on the bridge of his flagship, reading a new distress signal. This one came from a species that had never heard of humans before, never seen Earth ships, never knew that somewhere in the galaxy were beings willing to die for strangers. "Sir?" asked his tactical officer. "What are your orders?" Minho looked at the star map, showing the location of the emergency. It was far from human space, in a region controlled by pirates and raiders. Getting there would be dangerous. Fighting there would be costly. But innocent people were dying, and that was all that mattered. "Set course for the distress signal," he ordered. "Maximum speed." "Sir, what do we do about mercy this time?" Minho's expression was as cold as the void between stars. "We show mercy to the innocent. Everyone else gets exactly what they deserve." The human fleet turned and jumped to faster than light speed, racing toward another war, another rescue, another chance to prove that the strongest were meant to protect the weak. Behind them, the galaxy slowly learned to live without fear. Ahead of them, new challenges waited, but Earth's children were ready.